I don't know. I don't know anything. And how is this possible? How is it possible that I have this space
And I don't know about it. Exactly.
and this organ,
Yes.
and I don't know anything about it. I don't know physiologically, biologically, energetically, spiritually, nothing.
Nothing, yes.
It was such a wake-up call. Allow yourself to feel. Some people don't allow themselves to feel anger. Feel it safely, Allow yourself to feel grief. Some people don't allow themselves to feel joy. Feel so ridiculously happy.
Yes.
And don't stay in one place. Don't get stuck in one emotion. That's the whole point. Like, we need to keep moving. Don't get stuck in your hate and your anger. Don't get stuck in your grief. Don't stay up in your joy. So many of them are still silent, and it just blows my mind. And it shows me how much this industry and these practices, while yes, they are rooted in something really beautiful, have been extracted and then repackaged and used to just make people more asleep and more self-centered and more in their own bubble, that oh no, I can't hear anything, I can't see anything, I can't say anything, like la 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 la, this isn't happening to me. And I'm just like, whoa, this is scary. I believe that people, I naively believe that people came into this industry and to this work because I get emotional.
It's fine.
Because they truly believed in what they say and the work that they do and the things that they preach, that they truly loved this earth and its people, and for people to be well. And that they, by doing this work, have made a commitment to that. And I think what I've realized, and I know I'm also late to the game, so many people have arrived here years before, and I know people will arrive here some years later, and that's fine. But I think it's just another product of consumerism. It's like, hey, let me just package this really beautiful thing for you to buy. Yes. And where is the integrity? Where is the authenticity? What is it actually rooted in? And it's just so heartbreaking, because I immediately thought that the wellness industry would be the first group of people to come out and speak,
stand up,
against this injustice.
Welcome to Heal with Zainab, space where we come home to ourselves. I'm Zainab, and here we explore what it truly means to be well, not only in your body, but also in your mind and soul. Not any current trends, no quick fixes, but actually deep conversation, real healing, and grounding practices. And I try myself best to call the most authentic guests. And in order not to miss any of the episode, I would really like you to subscribe and click on the bell notification. So in today's episode, I have a very special guest who is a yoga teacher, Reiki healer, womb healer, and so much more. But today I've invited her not to talk about any of these things, but something which is way more meaningful and deep, because she is a fierce advocate for decolonization, liberation, and collective healing. She is someone who guides people either through womb healing, holding space for people, or speaking truth to the system of oppression. She reminds us that healing is not personal, it's revolutionary. So it's Dina Ghandour. Hi.
Hi, Zainab. So grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
So am I. Thank you for coming. So let's start with the very basic today, I guess the reason that I have literally called you to talk about which is very, very less talked about topic, is connecting to the roots. and how important and crucial it is for our mental health, for our overall health. And this is something that is, it means a lot to me since not many years, but last couple of years, that this is something that I've started observing, thinking, and I really feel like connecting back to my roots. And this is the main area of topic today. So starting with our first root, which is our womb, right? So when you say womb healing and all that, first tell us what is womb for you and why do we need to connect with our womb?
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's such a beautiful place to begin. And I have to say that our first root is like the ultimate womb, which is the earth. And so from that is, I think, where we have to come back to our first idea of where the source of our life comes up from, the thing that nourishes us, the things that sustain us. And then, of course, the second part being the physical womb. And I think to me, the journey with the womb has been very complex and very challenging as well. I think growing up in this very kind of new age of like feminism where you're told that you can do anything a man can do and that you're just as capable and just as strong, which I think was necessary, a necessary part of finding our own way and finding a way to feel more equal and to feel like we have a place at the table in this world where these big decisions are being made.
Yes.
And equally at the same time, I feel as though the parts that make us, feminine, the parts that connect us to this root, the parts that connect us to how life is created, somehow took a little bit of a backseat. It's something that, at least in my school, I wasn't really educated about. I wasn't really told much about. I was told, okay, you're going to get your bleed and that's it. Okay, have fun. Good luck. But that's kind of it, right? So there's this huge vacuum of information. And it wasn't until I became a yoga teacher and then some of my clients got pregnant. I went on to do my prenatal yoga teacher training. And then my pregnant yoga clients would start asking me all of these questions about birth and their womb and and I was like, I don't know anything. And how is this possible? How is it possible that I have this space
and I don't know about it exactly,
and this organ, and I don't know anything about it? I don't know physiologically, biologically, energetically, spiritually, nothing.
Yes,
it was such a wake-up call. And once I started learning, and even at the beginning, just peeling back like one layer and seeing how powerful it was, I took it for granted. I was just like, it's an extra organ that we have that's different from other people.
And plus, so much fear has been attached to it. Because I have been through that space when I gave birth. So much fear. Oh my God, something is going to happen. And you hold your breath. But now when I look back to it, I was not very properly educated. I did just self-educate myself back then. It is, I think for a woman, it's the most spiritual experience. You're literally creating something out of this space magically. It's like, it is the most spiritual experience if you put that in perspective.
100%, 100%. And I think that's the thing is like, yes, we can connect to it physically. Yes, we can connect to it biologically, and there's something really beautiful about connecting to it spiritually and energetically. And even if you aren't creating human life from this space, some of us won't choose to do it or won't be able to do it for different reasons. It's still the center of our creativity. It's still the place from which we birth ideas, from which we birth projects, from which we birth our companies and our legacies and what imprint we're leaving in the world. There's so much that comes through from that space. But because we've been living in this patriarchal, capitalistic, colonial landscape, this society, we were told to do it all from here, from our brain, from our mind. And actually what I guess everybody's trying to say now, if you're on this like womb empowerment, womb reclamation journey, is, hey, actually we have a whole center of wisdom and intuition and information and so much that is alive in another center of our body, and not just this logical, rational mind.
Yes, totally. And you feel, because you deal with women mostly, that women are actually in today's time really disconnected with their wombs, and they do. And when we talk about healing, what do we mean by womb healing? How, and do we really need to hire those womb healers and pay so much money? Or you think women sitting at home watching this can actually work on it by just, like, she can heal her womb by herself? How?
Absolutely.
How?
Yeah, I think from what I see, there is still a huge disconnection, not just to our wombs, but to our bodies in general. We spend so much of our time externally focused on screens and people and what's happening in the world, and we don't spend enough time coming back into ourselves. And I think that's something that we both share about the power of yoga, this ability to bring all of that awareness back into the body. And anything that's conscious movement based, it could be dance, it could be yoga, it could be somatics, it could be anything. But definitely we still have a long way to go when it comes to reconnecting with our bodies. And then even if we reconnect to our bodies, and we even see this in the yoga industry, we still go against what our body is telling us. If we're tired, we might still practice and we might still push ourselves in the pose. Or if we're on our bleed, we might still go and do all of these high intensity things instead of listening to our body and trying to understand what it needs from us depending on where it is. And so, yes, I think number one, there's a big gap in where we are and where we need to be in terms of really returning back into this connection. And number two, that yes, we don't have to go and pay $100,000 to get healed by anyone, that we are so blessed to have everything that we need inside of us, that all it requires is
to feel,
to connect, to spend 2 to 3 minutes a day, maybe starting by 30 seconds a day, to just be like, hi, how are you? I've never met you before. Like, my name is Dina. We don't have a relationship, but maybe we can start one now. And then you just slowly build it from there. And it doesn't even have to be something on this spiritual or energetic level. It could be very simple. It could be just like, okay, do I feel tender today? Like, start with something really tangible. It could be becoming more connected to your bleed, like really like looking at your bleed, looking at the color, looking at the texture, looking at how it's changing month on month, and understanding that there's this beautiful intrinsic cleaning process, this beautiful intrinsic purification process that's happening naturally in our body, and just starting to have a relationship with it. This is what I tell people. The word healing is so big. It's so, there's so much pressure, because then if we're not healed, we've done something wrong. And that's not true. And so what I always like to say is, like, forget healing and start with relating, start with connecting, build a relationship with your body, build a relationship with your womb, build a relationship with the parts of you that don't feel easy to relate to and to connect with.
My most favorite theory is Higgs-boson theory. I don't know if you're aware of it. And he says that any molecule in your body, any cell, any atom, it will start vibrating more actively and start producing results when you just pay attention to it. So if I just pay attention to this mic over here, and you will see how the structure of everything starts changing. And there's another Dr. Christine Northup. I just love her book, and I always recommend it to everyone. It's called Women Bodies and Women Wisdom. There are very few mainstream gynecologists who have spoken in lengths about women bodies, not only physically, but emotionally and spiritual sense to it. And she spoke about all of this, that there's so many patients of hers who has come, whether they have PCOS or menopausal women. And there's one thing exactly she highlighted, and this is with a study and statistics. The one who has a disconnection with their womb, and especially uterus removal, is so common with women. And I feel somehow it all gone back to your disconnection with womb. Like, you're never able to feel what's happening there. 100%. And then it goes into big, and then here you come in with so many chronic illnesses.
Absolutely. And I think to give people a bit of grace is that, yes, like, some of it is our own individual discomfort around it. Like we're not comfortable with our womb. We don't really know what it does. Like we're not very comfortable with our period. Where there's a lot of maybe shame or ickiness around it. So some of it is personal, and then a lot of it is generational. A lot of it is cultural. A lot of it is part of society's way of viewing that we have then taken on for ourselves, right? So absolutely, whenever I hear that there's, a rise in these illnesses or these dysfunctions of the female body, it just makes complete sense to me. It's been decades of total disconnection, of total suppressing, even, this whole like wave of taking the pill, which obviously gave us a lot of freedom, but to what extent of like the repercussions and the side effects and the complete suppressing of what's naturally happening in the body. They say like once you start taking the pill, something biologically like freezes for that period of time until you stop again, because it suppresses this natural cyclical evolution of what's meant to be happening in the body. So there's so many things that are contributing, and I think the sooner we start to connect, just the healthier we're all going to be.
Ancestral thing makes so much sense. But okay, if there is like, especially I guess in the culture, I think most of the cultures, I would say Asia or Arab or Africa, yes, there's a taboo, and it's been happening with generational suppression of women and whatnot. But how to break that? Okay, I'm aware of it. It has been generational. Now, what should I do? What steps should I take other than, okay, I can feel it and I can start doing things? How to break that actually? Is there any ritual, anything that we should do?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that first of all, I think having that awareness means that you're the first one in your lineage that is called and has the courage to break those cycles, because for whatever reason, it wasn't safe to do that before. So my mother or my grandmother or my great-grandmother would have felt like they might have been judged or ostracized from society or called crazy. So for whatever reason, you are now in this space of questioning, gives light to the idea that you're probably the first one in your lineage that can start to break those cycles. And what they say is if you work on breaking the pattern, you're breaking the pattern for 7 generations behind you. You heal 7 generations behind you, and you can even heal 7 generations forward if you believe in that. If you believe that everything is one long, stretchy, intrinsic length of time as a woven fabric, And so, I think that this starting off by doing this connection and then seeing what rituals work for you. I think everybody's different. For some people, maybe it's just a meditation, closing your eyes, connecting to maybe breathing into your womb. If you feel connected to affirmations, using some affirmations. Maybe for some people, it's something physical. I offer womb massage. So for a lot of people, it's a great way for them to connect because there's like a real physical sense of somebody massaging, holding, putting pressure on a part of their body that's never touched, right? Like when we go and get a massage, it's like our head, our shoulders, our legs. So it's one great way for people to just be like, oh, this is amazing. I'm getting more blood flow. I'm getting more lymph flow. I'm getting physical contact and connection with a space in my body that I haven't before. So it could be through meditation. It could be through something physical like that. And then it can go all the way down to how you have conversations with your children about it, how you have conversations with your friends about it. Those are so powerful as well. Those are so powerful rituals. You can go as far as to offer your bleed to the soil, to the plants, to the earth, as a way of giving back. Like the earth gives us so much nourishment and, we extract so much from her. We just expect it all to be available, all the food that we want, all the water that we want, all the resources, all the sunlight. And then we still have the audacity to go out and ground and to continue to extract by grounding. Oh, I'm going to put my feet on the floor and ground. We're still taking so much from her. And
without giving anything in return.
Absolutely. My teacher, Dr. Ricio Rosales, always talks about, it's like we're still extracting. And so what can we offer back? Your bleed can be one of them. A prayer can be one of them. And if you're connecting to that greater womb and that greater mother, it's a really beautiful way. You can offer so many things to the earth, to animals. You can put seeds out for the birds. You can give flowers.
And even in ancient times, I remember red tent circle was very, very common, where women who were bleeding together, either with full moon or new moon, their cycle were synced. They used to sit together in a circle. They used to talk about it. So that sense of community and everything has always been there. And slowly, gradually, we will come back to why it got diminished. Thanks to all the colonialism and capitalism and everything like that. Okay, so talking about ancestors and connecting with them, do you really believe that connecting with your ancestors is it's crucially important, or connecting with your roots as well, whether it's your land or where you come from, for your health, for your overall being, and how crucial it is?
100%. I think if anything, it's the most important thing. Like, throw everything away. Throw all your books, throw all of your crystals, throw all of your certifications, throw it all away and return back to the land. Like, what does your land or the land have to teach you? What does observing cycles of nature have to teach you? What does the land teach us about things that are healing for us, whether it's in the herbs and the medicines and the plants? What are the land-based practices and rituals that have sustained us for hundreds of thousands of years?
What if someone does not know it at all? Because this is a very common practice, I know, and especially common in, I don't like to label as the third world countries because it's been labeled. They are not third world countries. But let's say like there are many, many countries in Asia where there's a corruption and people are leaving their lands and going abroad for the better opportunities and whatever. Or they've been brainwashed like that. And they don't find anything good, anything good back in their land. All they see is, they have poverty, they are corrupt, they are thieves, they are this, and all they see is problems. And this is a very, very common, if I speak to anyone from my country, from Pakistan, and all I see anyone living abroad is, but what is there back home is nothing. And I know there is so much. My grandfather was a naturopath. And I know how for longer hours he used to connect with plants and leaves and make medicines out of it. And it never even occurred to them that, we have to leave it and do something else. Never, the idea was there, right? But since last 20 years, 25 years, it has been happening so much. Everybody want to leave and go to either US or Europe or UK, because better opportunities or whatever. And I do know that it's very, very important. And I don't know, might be the logical reason behind it, but I know since last couple of years, I've been feeling very strong. And people do make fun of me like, why do you want to go back? Are you serious? Are you crazy? You're living in Dubai. And I'm like, I don't know. There is a calling. I have nothing to justify it, why I'm going. Yes, there are problems. Or maybe there's no electricity, like, I don't know, in summers. Or I know, but there is a calling that I have so much to offer back. Whatever I've learned in all these years, whether it's knowledge or experience or whatever it is. And I know there are millions of people living there who cannot leave their home just like you have, right? And maybe in my small capacity, whatever I can offer, maybe through this podcast, what we're talking about, right? But what do you think that people who have disconnected so much that they cannot find anything, what you're talking about maybe something way more of higher consciousness, connect with the plants and land. For them, it's all nonsense. What do you mean by connecting? But they cannot give us money, or they cannot live a comfortable life, right? How? Where to begin from? For a layman, I mean, I know that this podcast might not be for those people who are vibrating in that consciousness, but how they should do it in order to improve their overall health. Because the one thing why I'm discussing this with you, what I have commonly noticed that of all the people who have left their country and they have moved abroad, now they have children, they've been living there for 20 years, they're still obsessed with their land. If you hate it so much, why you're so obsessed with their news? Why you're so obsessed with the food? You still look for that Pakistani Indian cuisine or that halal Arab cuisine or Lebanese cuisine. You still look for that. Why you are not assimilating with the fish and chips and burgers? Go and have that every day. Why you still want to wear the traditional clothes on your wedding day or in some special events or Eid or something? So I feel that, that means because when that local native of that person, that white person come and they make them feel that, no, you are not one of us, even if your 3 generations were here, then they're like, okay, so they still want to build up their own community in that foreign land. There is still something there. That's why it hurts. Something happened back home, it hurts. It might not hurt me as much as it's something happened in Portugal, Lisbon, I don't know, because it's not my country. Yes, it affects me, but it's not in that deeper level, right? So means that, okay, there is still some string attached to it, which you are in denial, right? So what is your observation about it, and what can be done?
I mean, of course, there's still a sense of belonging. You know, we have only been colonized recently. But before that, there was a huge connection to our lands and to our culture and to our traditions. So, of course, even if we can't logically see it, there's a huge energetic current running through our veins that's just there. There's nothing you can do about that. That's been being a fire that's slowly being, stoked for centuries and centuries. So, yeah, I think also we have to kind of look at the difference between how some people just want to follow certain traditions blindly and how really some people feel a sense of connection and belonging. And then to also understand that the brainwashing and the conditioning of that colonial capitalistic patriarchal mindset is so strong that some people just aren't going to see it yet. They're not going to see that they've also been colonized, that they've also assimilated in a mindset, of course, even the way we dress or the way we talk. I mean, even my accent, you know? So it's like, yes, we have to first understand that we've been colonized. And so I don't think there's any way for us to tackle that group of people until they reach that realization. And that's why I think, like you said, when you go back, you'll have your part to play, and it'll be about connecting with the people that understand the language and the frequency and the message that you're trying to get across. And that's not for everybody. And I think that's okay, because I think everybody comes to things at their own time, and there's no way we can change everybody's minds. But there's enough people that are starting to
realize,
like you, this is actually something has moved in me, something is calling me, and these are the people that we can speak to, me and you. And I know that there's some people that can speak to the people that are one step removed, and some people can speak to the people one step removed.
Exactly.
And that's okay. And I think we're all bridges to different groups of people, and we just say our truth, like you said at the beginning, and see who feels called to listen and who we can learn from as well, because we have to keep unlearning, even though we think we know everything. We still know nothing.
Like you initially said, I think it all starts with the feeling. I guess I maybe start connecting back. I think after my father passed away 3 years back, and there was a connection, and that's when when you feel the absence of something, and you enter home, and you're like, a home is not home anymore. And there you feel more connected with that home, because before that you don't even feel that. Oh, I grew up in that home. But now when this person is missing, oh, what happened? Then you notice that after this absence, oh, I have a really strong connection with the home. That's why it's hitting me. Same with the land, I feel. So after that connection with the home, I started really maybe feeling it, what I truly like as a food. What is my go-to food? My go-to food is definitely not pizza. I mean, yes, I like pizza. I enjoy eating it. But if you ask me to eat it every single day, no, thanks, I don't like. So, or if what is my go-to comfortable clothing wear or anything, or songs if I want to hear, it's always coming back to my language songs, right? Yes, I'm not saying okay, I don't enjoy English songs and all. Yeah, they all are good. But when you start feeling it, you're like, oh, okay, this is who I am truly. And that's where the connection builds up, right? Okay, before we start talking about this decolonization and all, because there's a lot to talk about it. You grew up in Dubai, right? You grew up in Dubai.
I grew up in Abu Dhabi.
But you are, Abu Dhabi, and you're actually from Palestine, right? You've never been there, or have you?
I visited.
You visited a few times. But though you only visited, but you never grew up there, do you still feel that connection with the land?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's a testament to my grandparents and to my parents, because you can keep the land and the culture and the essence alive in so many different ways, because the truth is, with the way that the world is, we can't always be in proximity. to it. But it can be alive in so many different ways. And for my family, it was alive through stories. My mom would talk about how she would walk to school. She would talk about how her mom would bake fresh bread at home. She would talk about how her father used to play the oud. My dad would talk about my grandmother, my grandfather.
And it's so fascinating to hear your parents' stories. It's so fascinating.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like for me, it came alive through stories. It came alive through food. It came alive through, politics. It was very alive in our household. And I know that's a testament to them, because I have some friends where it wasn't very alive, where it was too painful for the parents to speak about what was happening on the land, that it just wasn't really talked about. And they don't have as much of a connection. And that's understandable, because everybody grieves and heals in different ways. But for my parents, it was really alive. They were very proud. They were very proud to talk about all kinds of different things. And so for me, that felt very alive in me. It felt like a consistent thing that we belonged to from so many different ways and from so many different aspects. And then you realize it's in your blood. It's in your DNA. And even if you're not there or you've never been there, their connection is there. It literally lives inside of you.
Yeah, and you can never disconnect. Though, speaking of it's very relatable for me, because my father migrated from India, and I hear so many stories. He always he'd tell us that, okay, this was the house, this was a mosque nearby. And I have so much desperation to see that place where he grew up. I really want to go. And so you're right, that connection is there. That's why, when all this politics that talk about India-Pakistan war and stuff, I'm like, I can never feel that hate towards that land. I mean, that's where my forefathers came from. How can you ask me to hate that land? No, leave aside the politics and whatever. But I feel the connection. I feel the history is same. There's so much similarities, and so your traditions you've been following there, like in your family. Food was there. You were speaking in Arabic, so that has been continued, right?
100%.
So yeah, so it could always be. That's why it is so, you feel so connected, because the rituals and everything has been there. Only land has been changed, right? But your mother grew up there. Your parents grew up there.
Yeah, my mother grew up there, and she left only until after she graduated from university. My dad's family were in the part that first got occupied in 1948. So his family...
Which part was that?
He was up in Jaffa in the north.
Okay.
And so he had to leave. His family had to leave then, and they moved to Jordan. So my grandparents were there, but my father was born in Jordan. But my mom's from Ramallah in the West Bank, which is still there. And so she was able to stay in Palestine until she pretty much finished university and left to work. Yeah.
But do you feel that whatever is happening currently in Palestine, you feel that pain is there very intense, very strongly, because it's your land? Or if it was not, you were not from Palestine, you had felt. I mean, I know people who have nothing to do with Palestine, but the pain is, as a human, if you're a human and you have a beating heart, of course you will feel a very intense pain for whatever is happening. But do you feel it has something to do with, because it's your land?
I think of course, but I also think that there's the pains for Palestine specifically has been there since I was born. I mean, every time I heard stories, every time I saw things in the news, what's happening now isn't new. So definitely there's a connection to the land specifically, and feeling the pain of watching your people and your land being destroyed. And there's something much larger, which is why so many people from around the world are connecting to Palestine and what's happening there, because there's something fundamental about what it's bringing up for humanity and what it's bringing up for our collective consciousness. So that's why, yes, I feel so much specifically, because I literally feel it in my bones and in my DNA. And there's something so horrific about the injustice that it could be happening anywhere. Like, the injustice is so dark and it's so gross and it's so evil that it invokes something in so many people.
And plus, injustice, like we say, it's happening next door. What makes you think that you are not next? And it could not happen to you. But do you feel that it's very, I mean, we are in a helpless situation, but
we are never helpless.
No, not in a helpless in a sense that it is helpless that I wish I could do something.
You can.
Whatever we are doing, maybe it's at a micro level, you know? But of course, I understand what you're saying, like a drop by drop, even micro can become a macro. That's true. But, you know, like if I want to go there, I cannot go there.
Well, we don't need to go there.
Yeah.
We need to start exactly where we are. We have to start here. Nobody needs to go there. They are there. They are fighting there. They are fighting for their own lands. They are fighting for their own dignity. They're fighting for their own humanity when we support them in whatever way we can. But we don't need to go there. We need to be right here, and we need to start here, because the reason we're here is because we've allowed ourselves to be sheep, just following along and not paying attention to anything for so long. And so we have to start here. And the whole thing is so capitalistic. Well, what can I do? It's just a drop in the ocean. We don't have to think about what's going to make a difference now. It's not going to make a difference now. The whole idea is that in 10, 20, 100 years, this will never happen again. I never wake up in the morning and, you know, whatever, boycott whatever I'm drinking or donate to an organization or say a prayer because I think it's going to change something now. I'm very aware that the tidal wave is going to take a lot of time, but it's the idea that we have to start now if we want to save everybody. It is changing, but it's also getting worse, right? So there's two things happening at the same time.
I agree.
There's something happening where it's getting worse, and there's a huge wave of people coming on board. And we have to remember that we need these systems of oppression to collapse. And that's not going to happen in one night, and it's not going to happen in 1 year. And so everything that we're doing is about fundamentally breaking down those corrupt, oppressive systems inside of ourselves. If I look at my body as shit and it's awful and it's an object and it just needs to look perfect and I have to perfect it, that's an oppressive system that you should break out of. If you are just buying things for the sake of buying things and being extremely, materialistic, I'm not saying don't buy what you want to buy, like buy what you want to buy, but we're living like somebody says, this is the best thing that you should have. And you're like, oh, this is the best thing I should have. No, like that's another form of like an oppressive system that is making you believe that you will be happier or you will feel more fulfilled when you have this thing, and then you feel empty again, then you need another thing, and then you feel empty again. And so we have to start by breaking these systems within ourselves. It doesn't have to be about going there and doing anything.
Coming to the health and wellness industry. So right now, the industry where we all are in, I mean, we both are in, there are some people who are very actively speaking about it. And there are certain people who are completely quiet about it. And why I want to shed light on it, because I've come across certain people and, everybody has their own way of processing things, and I'm not villainizing them or something, but there's a certain group of people who are spiritual healers, or, they are, all energy healers and love and light and all of those things. According to them, that, what can we talk about it? It was meant to happen. It is karma. And they must have done something in previous life, and now they're paying back. It's like, it's the whole biggest God's game. It's happening. We have no say. We have nothing. And that's it. It's all about love and light. Or the second theory is that we don't want to talk about anything negative. It's negative. It's not good for our mental health. It's about collective consciousness. Do not focus on negativity. Do not focus on killing. Focus on light. Send positive light. All of those things. At the same time, I had one discussion with someone that, following the same theory, someone enters in your home and start killing your family. Oh, it's karma. Your family has to pay back. Really?
Oh my God.
I mean, no, I'm not saying, but yeah, that is the counter.
No, but it's true. Like, as soon as you said that, I was like, that's such a ridiculous statement.
Yeah, it's a counter argument. And because I really wanted to ask her, will you stay quiet and stay silent to this injustice that has happened? Or you think you hold some sort of responsibility or duty to speak? The minimum you can do is speak about it. Okay, I also understand not many people have the courage to do it, or your Instagram might get blocked, or you might lose a lot of clients. A lot of things can happen, and you are not there yet to fight against that, or maybe you need money or whatever, right? Not everybody's in that level. But still, like, what is your stance on it? Like, because right now I know the industry is divided into two groups, and how important it is because being in health and wellness industry, I feel, speak on behalf of so many people right now who are affected mentally, emotionally, their spiritual health, everything is being questioned right now, and you are in that industry, right? Mm-hmm. So what is your stance on that?
Yeah, I think unfortunately the industry has evolved in a way that just continues to uphold these very exclusive, privileged systems of oppression. And I don't think they see it that way, because they believe they're contributing to peace and to love and to light. But like you said, take one step back, or if it happens to you, how does that shift your perspective? Which makes me think, if people really think, oh, this is negative and I can't think about it, that's a huge place of privilege. You can't hear the bombs, so you don't need to think about it. Your cousin hasn't been murdered, so you don't have to think about it. How easy for you to check out and to lift yourself up into this beautiful higher vibrational space when your fellow human beings are being slaughtered. Like, that is an insane form of psychosis to me. Like, you have been brainwashed and you have been bypassing for so long that you are disconnected from your humanness. Yes, we are spiritual beings, but we are also human beings living on this 2-dimensional earth where anything can happen.
We can feel that. That is the prime aspect of being a human.
Absolutely. Yeah. And even when people are, like, oh, I can't feel anything, if you believe in energy, if you believe in oneness, if you believe in this collective consciousness, you will never feel rested. You will never feel at peace. You will never feel whole, because the other end of your sphere, of your fabric, of your web of life is being decimated, is being brought down to its knees. And so to think that you are unaffected because you're over here, when if everything is linked, you will never feel truly happy. And I just feel really sad, because I believed in this industry. I believed that people, I naively believed that people came into this industry and to this work because I get emotional.
It's fine.
Because they truly believed in in what they say and the work that they do and the things that they preach, that they truly loved this earth and its people, and for people to be well, and that they, by doing this work, have made a commitment to that. And I think what I've realized, and I know I'm also late to the game, so many people have arrived here years before, and I know people will arrive here some years later, and that's fine, but I think it's just another product of consumerism. It's like, hey, let me just package this really beautiful thing for you to buy. Yes. And it's, where is the integrity? Where is the authenticity? What is it actually rooted in? And it's just so heartbreaking, because I immediately thought that the wellness industry would be the first group of people to come out and
stand up,
against this injustice, and so many of them are still silent, and it just blows my mind, and it shows me how much this industry and these practices, while yes, they are rooted in something really beautiful, have been extracted and then repackaged and used to just make people more asleep and more self-centered and more in their own bubble, that they, oh no, I can't hear anything, I can't see anything, I can't say anything, like la 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 la, this isn't happening to me. And I'm just like, whoa, this is scary. Yes. This is terrifying. And I know people in other industries feel the same. When the people in the medical doctors field, when they see the doctors being killed, journalists, media, they all feel the same. Like, I feel like every industry has had their own like big awakening of like, how can this industry stay silent when their fellow doctors, when their fellow journalists, when their fellow nurses or whatever it might be, poets, artists, musicians, so many, Israel is not discriminating. They're killing everybody. So even like mother circles and mother spaces, all these people that again claim to be about the well-being and the health of children, but only specific children,
Do you feel that, like you beautifully said, that, this repackaging and all that spiritual industry, I mean, health and wellness industry, I know, has been hijacked long time back. It is their product. But spiritual industry has been hijacked by them. And in a way, like I said, all this ancient wisdom that has come from Africa, from ancient Egypt, from Arab, from Asia, they have taken it, branded it beautifully in a nice packing with a bow, and they are selling back to us. And just like you said, the sheep mindset, we are buying it from them, paying the triple the price, which we have always owned it, right? I mean, that is very, very alarming situation. Like, there are so many things, like so many examples of that. Speaking of toilets, we have always been into using squatting toilets, right? You are the one who introduced this Western toilets to us. And now you are the one who is saying that, sometimes I feel that you are giving me this... I don't know, like giving me cancer from under the table, and from the above the table, you're like, eat broccoli, it's good for the cancer. This is exactly what is happening, and this is historically this has been happening since always. If you look at the map of 1930s, almost 85% of the Earth's land was being colonized, and imagine that. So many years and years what they have done. And they came with not only the military invasion was there. People think colonialism means that, it's military invasion was there. They did this, they did that. No, they came with a project. It was an educational project. Subtle programming through music and through how you should look like, what you should eat, how you should use the toilet. I mean, for God's sake. And now the same people rebranding that squatting toilet, you should use this tool and put your feet there because it's so good for your gut. And everybody is buying it from Amazon that, it's so good for my gut if you just put your feet up. And I'm like, wow, we have been using it since centuries. They are the ones who brought it to us. And everything, whether it's Triphala powder or this Ayurvedic greens or this and that, which grew in our gardens in the plants, but we were not aware of it, right? So yes, it has taken, and I am the biggest, I'm being the victim, and I still don't feel that I'm fully decolonized. No, I'm not. I'm still working a lot on it. There are so many things which is deeply rooted. When I 100%. See myself in the mirror, I grew up with it. I remember my aunts used to tell me, and my mother's in 1960 and 1970, that there was the perfect body shape of a woman is a curvy body. So this waist, and then this becomes like that. And I'm a millennial, so I grew up where, suddenly the skinniness comes. Like, you have to be skinny, you have to look like a supermodel. Till now, when I look myself in the mirror, I'm like, oh my God, I have this pear-shaped body. I should, it's there, and I'm trying my best. I mean, it's a lot better now, but it's like there's certain clothes where I feel uncomfortable. Oh no, this part is prominent. Oh no, I shouldn't be looking that way. I wish I'm that skinny. Why I'm not losing fat from this area? And I know, I'm aware it's wrong. This thought process is wrong, but it's deeply rooted.
So deep.
It's deeply rooted. You go to any Asia, any Africa, even Arabs, whatever. You speak in an English accent. She looks educated. Maybe I'm not educated. Just because I'm speaking English in a certain accent, suddenly the label is being attached. She's educated. Someone who is speaking in a local language, he or she doesn't know how to speak English in a good accent. You will immediately judge the way they dress up or 100%. Whatever. it's there, and it's hard. It's very hard to decolonize it. And that's why I want to bring it up, because I feel this makes up the fabric of our spiritual health. It has affected deeply for hundreds and hundreds of years what damage they have done. 100%. And it's so difficult to, to reverse it, how to do that. What do you recommend to the steps to decolonize your mindset?
Honestly, so I really recommend Dr. Rocio Rosales Mesa's work. She's a decolonial teacher, but she does it from this beautiful spiritual lens. And it's a huge journey. It's a lifelong journey, first of all. Something that she always talks about is how we've been conditioned without our consent. And so the first step is to really have a lot of compassion and to feel the grief around that. Like let's really feel the grief around the fact that we have been told all of these things. Your skin should be light, your waist should be small, you should have no hair on your body, you should be perfect and pretty and trimmed and ready to go at all times, you should be quiet, you should be smart, you should be all these different things.
You should be productive, you should earn as much as men are earning, but you should be a great mother, great wife, come home, be able to cook, be super productive, and look like a supermodel.
Yes.
Which is, I don't know how humanly possible it is.
Without any burnout. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
And so we've been conditioned without our consent. And so I think the first step is just really sitting in recognition of that and just being like, whoa, like I have been brainwashed without my consent through hundreds and thousands and millions of subtle messages, like you said, through music, through art, through the media, through the news, through stories, whatever it might be, through exposure of different cultures. Slowly, we've been conditioned. And so I think first of all, just really feel into the grief of that. Really be with that. It's awful to think about. And then I think the second thing is to just start by building a relationship with the earth. I don't know how you want to do it, how you want to get there, who you need to go to, but nothing will happen logically until you start from the beginning, until you repair. You have to repair your relationship with the earth. We have to repair our relationship that we have been cut, we have been severed, we have been removed from this primal connection that we've had for centuries and centuries. That is the root cause of our unwellness. It is the root cause. And so until you can do 100 hours of therapy, you can take all the medication you want to take, you can do as much yoga as you think you want to do, but until the fundamental root is healed, the fundamental connection is healed, I truly don't think we're going to get anywhere. And I know that's a huge ask, because it's so what does that mean? You go and be curious. Go and be curious. Find a teacher. Find somebody who's still connected to the land, who's still connected to the earth, who still has the knowledge and the wisdom. Most of our grandparents aren't with us anymore. But go and find someone that's alive and who still carries that forward. Go and spend time with them. Ask them questions. Hear their stories. Listen to what they say. I don't know. It could be anything. You can start by seeking someone elsewhere. You can start by the next time you travel to see your family at home, you start to just, oh yeah, I remember we had an aunt that did this, or another cousin that did that, and just go and be curious. And
I always say, when you are curious or you are a seeker, teacher appears.
100%.
So it all starts with just being aware of it, what is happening and why you're doing it. Why do you like your coffee a certain way? Is it because you really, really like it? Or because it's been programmed to you? Everybody is having, matcha latte, this whatever, Lububu dolls and whatnot. You are exhausting yourself. You're draining yourself. You don't like it, but you want to have it because you want to look cool. So there's some deeply rooted this disconnection with your bodies, with your heart. And eventually you are the one who's going to be miserable, because you cannot carry this inauthenticity for too long. And I'm speaking from my own personal experience. I have been there.
Same.
So You want to be cool. You want to be with the crowd. You want to make connection with friends. So you want to act like what majority is doing. You want to look in a certain way. You want to behave in a certain way. But if you really want to live, like you said, a healthy life, and by healthy life doesn't mean you eat all the broccoli in the world or you can have your grills and high protein, low carbs or whatever. Yeah. But how you're feeling here emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, and that was the whole purpose of this podcast and this episode today, that by just feeling connection with your own bodies, with your womb, with earth, and where you come from. Because there's a reason I always used to think, okay, why God gave me birth into this specific country, into this specific family? This question is enough. I could have been born anywhere, right?
I love that so much.
I love this question, that there was a reason. Even if I don't like it, but nobody can deny that truth. Yes, I was born to this family. Everybody come from a dysfunctional family. Most of the people, I feel. Oh, okay, I have this problem. You will find thousands of problems in your ancestors, in your lineage, in your family. But there's a reason, okay, why God was not angry on you. There are many people who were born in a dysfunctional environment, people who were born, the children who were born in Gaza, it's not their fault. But maybe they were born to sacrifice so that humanity can awaken. That was their purpose. God knows, right? So there is a reason. You cannot just abandon and say, okay, I don't like this family. Sorry, I have nothing to do with you. I'm going and moving to a different country, choosing a different family. Even if you do, they will not accept you. And this has been happening in the West right now. Do you like being insulted? Do you like being demeaned for your color, where you come from? Or go back to the country where you come from. And I know it's very upsetting, because maybe your whole life you have been there. That is your country. You feel love for that country. But I think it's a high time to just be aware of, okay, what is the signal that I'm getting, right? And that's where the true health begins, right? Do you feel any difference within yourself after you feel that connection with your womb or earth, or you develop that connection with the land? What difference do you feel within yourself? In terms of health, your overall health.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what you were saying about how do you know who you are, and how do you know what you like, and how do you know what you're on this earth to do without getting a really deep sense of that knowing. And I think that can only come from having a lot of time and space, of course, to be in like contemplation and meditation, or something really massive happens, like what's happening in Palestine, and it comes down like a sword of truth and a sword of discernment, and it made super clear everything in my life that, okay, these are my values. Like, these are unwavering values, and I will only move through life from this center. And now it's super clear. Because now I can position myself because of this huge atrocity. And so, yes, I think we can spend years and years doing that. And then sometimes life just hands it to you on a platter and is like, take a good effing look at the world. Take a good effing look at your life. Take a good look at what you are doing, how you're eating, what you're consuming. How are you contributing? What is your impact on the earth? What is your impact on your family? What is your impact on the community? And are you really okay with that? Are you okay? If you're okay, cool. Keep going. But everyone needs to have that moment. And I think we all have it in different ways of where we have that awakening. And then we really, truly get to know who we are.
Totally. And I think this will truly happen, like you said, when you truly own your values, own where you come from. I always give one example. It was back when I was living in Azerbaijan, and I had some friends who were from Europe and America and all. Lovely people and all, but of course the culture is different, right? So whenever we used to go and meet in their house, they have a culture of either drinking, and they can just put some nachos and some chips, some snacks, even if it's the dinner time. That's fine, right? But whenever they used to come to my home, my culture, or like that's intrinsic, this is what I saw my mother, it has to be dinner. Like, it's a dinner time.
Yeah.
So I always used to cook.
Minimum
and like,
of 2 main courses.
Yeah, at least 2 main courses. There has to be food. So what happened a couple of times, and my husband was like, they never serve you food. Like, just be normal. It's okay. Just put some snack. I'm like, no, I'm not ready to give up.
That.
Even if I'm being drained and tired,
I love that.
even if I know they don't do that, That's fine. Maybe they haven't seen that. This is not their
100%.
culture. I don't mind that. I respect that. But I willingly do not want to give up that. I love it.
I love that.
And why should I give up, right? This is a culture. And so there are many things in terms of respecting your adults or, anything. You just stand up when some elderly person comes up. I don't want to give up those values willingly. I don't want anything in return, or they should treat me in a certain way. Only then I will respect them, or anything. So last question, which I ask to everybody, 3 spiritual hacks that you want to give it to people who can't afford to go to this healers and this and that you think that just by sitting at home, start doing these 3 things if you really want to be awakened or really connect with yourself spiritually. What are those 3 things?
I think I can only speak from my own experience, because I'm sure I have a million examples I can think of from things that I've seen and read. But I think what's working for me at the moment is to, number 1, really intentionally create and nurture community. I do think it's a spiritual practice because it's not easy. There's fake community, like we're just hanging out and we're being social. And there's real community where we have to show up for each other even when it's uncomfortable. We have to make the meal. We have to take care of maybe somebody else's child. We're tired. It's like we really show up for this community because we understand that it's fundamental to our spiritual health, because it has been for centuries. I think the second thing that's been really powerful for me is prayer. And I think that's really different for different people. I don't have necessarily like a religious prayer, but sometimes I pray to God. Sometimes I pray to my healed ancestors. Sometimes I just pray to the earth. Sometimes I just pray to energy. And I think it's more like, here's my entry point into connecting with whatever the higher power is, because I do agree that there is something greater that is at play here that I don't understand and I won't understand. And to specifically in that prayer, and this is from my same teacher as well, she always says in your prayer, like ask, show me what I need to do.
Yes.
Like show me how I'm meant to serve. Show me how I'm meant to show up. I think sometimes because we're so hyper individualized and we're so colonized, like we think that we're going to come up with like all the answers of how to heal ourselves when we get sick, and it's all our responsibility, but it's not. Like it's shared by something much greater than us. And maybe there's some messages and some knowledge and some wisdom that needs to come through that we're not paying attention to because we're not asking for those questions. So I think prayer is another really big one. And I think, again, for people to get curious about that. And I guess the third thing is to just allow yourself to feel everything that you're feeling. I think that's something that's also very difficult, but has been extremely spiritually profound for me, because even though I've been on a spiritual path for more than 10 years, until I allowed myself to move into the depths of my grief, and the width of my grief and the height of my grief, it unlocked. And I think for anyone that's lost someone, I'm sure you can relate with your father's passing away. If you allow yourself to let the grief break you open, you can access a space of spirituality that is so profound.
Yes.
And so I think allow yourself to feel. Some people don't allow themselves to feel anger. Feel it safely, Allow yourself to feel grief. Some people don't allow themselves to feel joy. Feel so ridiculously happy.
Yes.
And don't stay in one place. Don't get stuck in one emotion. That's the whole point. We need to keep moving. Don't get stuck in your hate and your anger. Don't get stuck in your grief. Don't only stay up in your joy.
Because stuck energy can also be very toxic. It could be very dangerous for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I think the most spiritual thing you can do sometimes is to just allow yourself to feel.
Yeah, that's the most powerful thing. Yeah. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Zainab.
I truly, truly, truly love the podcast. I mean, I don't know how we went, but it was quite a flow.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed the conversation.
Me too.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.